Imagine you have gone to watch a sports match of your favorite team. The crowds and the stadium has been packed with spectators cheering the team. The match commences and the game begins, setting up the big stage for your heroes. And in the middle of the game, a player collapses on the ground and he has been taken to the hospital by the emergency medics. On reaching the hospital, the doctors find out that he has just suffered a heart attack and he is admitted on critical grounds. You can't believe it, and the people can't believe it, that the fittest athlete has just suffered a major heart attack. Today we discuss as how the fittest sports people die on the play field and the related factors. Please subscribe to the channel if you like the video. Also share, like, and comment, as you could be saving a valuable life out who watched this video.
What you need to know about athletes dying of heart attacks after sudden cardiac death during play. Even among the fittest athletes, abrupt cardiac arrest and occasionally death happen on a yearly basis. Even though heart attacks on the court or playing field are not common, it is nevertheless important to be aware of them, especially if you or someone you care about has a history of heart problems. This video article investigates the causes of heart attacks in athletes, the mortality rate from cardiac events, the rarity of these occurrences, and whether there is any connection between these deaths and COVID-19 and later vaccinations. Why do heart attacks kill athletes? Athletes might experience sudden cardiac arrest both during and after competition. But it's quite rare. There are athletes with previous heart issues, despite the fact that exercise is quite healthy for the majority of people. It can be fatal if these sportsmen unintentionally exceed the limits of physical exercise. According to a reliable source, the main causes of sports-related fatalities in adults are coronary artery disease and in children, cardiomyopathy or arrhythmia. Although they do not happen quickly, other heart disorders including myocarditis can also contribute to sudden cardiac death. Myocarditis typically makes a person feel sick and prevents them from participating in sports. Most sporting events have medical services present in case something happens. Since they may be the closest to a player who has collapsed on the field or court, spectators who have received CPR training are frequently essential as well. What are young athletes' chances of dying suddenly from cardiac causes? Even among younger athletes, sudden deaths are quite rare. It has proven challenging to determine the precise rate of recurrence, though. It has been challenging to estimate the prevalence due to inconsistent data gathering techniques and inconsistent study methodologies. According to research, high school athletes had a sudden cardiac death (SCD) risk of 1 in 50,000 to 1 in 80,000. Male athletes are more at risk. The risk is reportedly 1 in 13,426 for college-aged athletes, with male college basketball players experiencing a higher risk. Despite the low risk and prevalence of sudden cardiac death (SCD), it is still advisable to take preventive steps. A health history and physical examination are currently the standard pre-participation screening procedures, although many European authorities firmly believe that young competitive athletes should also undergo an electrocardiogram (EKG) assessment. According to proponents of pre-participation EKG screening, an EKG can identify 60% trusted source of diseases that could cause sudden cardiac death. What effect has COVID-19 had on the number of athletes who suffer heart attacks? Athletes have died as a result of the COVID-19 coronavirus. However, the precise numbers are currently unknown due to comorbidity variables. It is well established that contracting COVID-19 increases the chance of myocarditis. This illness increases body inflammation, which can exacerbate any underlying problems and raise the risk of heart attack. Young athletes who experience sudden cardiac death frequently have myocarditis. A 2021 observational study of 1,597 athletes who tested positive for COVID-19 indicated that 37 of them, 2.3%, had myocarditis that could be diagnosed and maybe had myocarditis. This rate was higher for athletes who received cardiac magnetic resonance (CMR) testing, according to a 2022 study, at 4% trusted source. The American College of Cardiology advises cardiac screening for all athletes with cardiopulmonary symptoms before returning to play because COVID-19 raises the risk of myocarditis and other heart problems. Does the COVID-19 vaccine increase the risk of heart attacks in athletes? There is no concrete evidence that the COVID-19 vaccine increases the risk of heart attack in athletes. A very modest but possible increase in the risk of myocarditis following immunization. In a 2021 study trusted source, researchers looked into the connection between vaccination and myocarditis in 4,931,775 recipients of the shot. They discovered that for every 100,000 vaccine recipients, there were typically 5.7 cases of myocarditis or myopericarditis. That amounts to 0.0057%. Researchers found that even if there might be a relationship, the risk is very small. Novak Djokovic, the world's #1 tennis player, Novak Djokovic, the 9-time Australian champion, had made headlines in early January 2022 for stirring a public debate about vaccines. The tennis star said he hoped vaccines would not become mandatory for players to compete at tournaments. "I don't think it'll come to that. I hope not, because I've always believed in freedom of choice," he said, according to 9news.com.au. "And I will keep the decision as to whether I'm going to get vaccinated or not to myself," he added. Czech tennis player Renata Vorichova was also detained at the same immigration hotel in Melbourne last year, December 2021. The Czech tennis player was initially allowed into the country and even played a match, but her visa was later cancelled, reports SBS News. NBA player Kyrie Irving, NBA star Jonathan Isaac of Orlando Magic, NBA star Jonathan Isaac, American golfer Bryson DeChambeau and Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers remained unvaccinated for COVID-19 as per December 2021 update due to their personal reasons explained. What are the signs and danger signs of a sudden heart arrest while exercising? Exercise-related atypical chest pain or shortness of breath during or an hour after exercise are warning signs of sudden cardiac arrest. Another risk factor a doctor should consider is a family history of heart disease or sudden death. According to a 2019 retrospective study, 29% of athletes reported heart disease symptoms before to cardiac arrest. Knowing the signs and symptoms of sudden cardiac death in athletes. Exercise lowers the risk of heart attacks and strokes, but vigorous, prolonged exercise can increase the risk of abrupt cardiac events. By nature, athletes want to push their bodies to the utmost, gradually improving their speed, strength, and skill. How much is too much, then? The benefits of exercise generally outweigh the hazards. According to research, those who exercise more than 2 hours per week no longer have a high risk of experiencing a catastrophic event if they have heart disease. In fact, modifications from that activity aid in heart protection. Prevention is more about checking for underlying cardiac issues than it is about stopping exercise. If you are worried about the potential for sudden cardiac death, consider the following. 1. Have you ever suddenly felt out of breath, faint, or dizzy after working out? Have you ever noticed chest pain? 2. Did any of your immediate family members pass away suddenly from a heart attack or a cardiac condition before the age of 60? 3. Your doctor might advise an EKG if you want to conduct additional research because it could provide additional information to support the use of medical intervention if necessary. 4. According to a 2019 study, high school athletes have an 89% chance of surviving abrupt cardiac arrest with the prompt use of an automated external defibrillator, AED. It's essential to have medical supplies close by whenever you exercise to help lower the danger of harm or death. 6. It's crucial to keep in mind that just because an athlete is fit and engages in exercise doesn't indicate they are healthy. Although it improves health, fitness does not guarantee it. Additionally, other elements like healthy eating, getting enough sleep, and recovering are crucial. Your risk of sudden cardiac death will increase if you put your health last. Concluding, you might want to look at your family history or consult a doctor if you're an athlete worried about the possibility of having a heart attack. Despite being quite minimal, the risk nevertheless exists. If necessary, getting a health exam might help you decide what to do next. Make certain that wherever you work out or compete, there is appropriate medical equipment available. If you do encounter cardiac arrest while playing, having access to medical care can lower your risk of dying. Most importantly, take good care of your body and health so you may continue to play the sport you love for a long time. Happiness is only worth and real when you share it with others, as happiness is the best cure for all. So stay happy and spread happiness around. Cheers.
Thanks for watching and giving your valuable time. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to keep our motivation going. Cheers.